Welcome to episode 108 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
Sharks.
What do I do in Destiny?
And Gray.
Good evening, everybody.
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening in on the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter, @G1Net. That's G, the number 1, N-E-T. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. If you do a search on budget.net for Guardian 1, you'll find our forums group, which we also use for both comments and feedback. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can always search for the Guardian 1 podcast on iTunes, as well as the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast, Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at GuardiansofD and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/GuardiansofD. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include previous episodes of TTL Party Chat and Robust Radio. There's also a podcast called Ghost and Echoes, which contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards found within Destiny. That's it for housekeeping. I'll see you again soon.
You know, Hollow River says I'll see you again soon, and I'm not buying it anymore. In the beginning, it was kind of cool, and now I'm just thinking it was just to throw us off the scent. But anyways, time for some Destiny conversation. Very exciting times. Excited to go over the new Iron Banner rules, which I, spoiler, think are pretty sweet. But first, I wanted to wrap up Festival of the Lost, and I would like a cookie, everyone, because I'm hungry. But separate from that, I want you to know that I didn't do it. I didn't buy a single treasure, and I feel really good about it. It is strange. Like, I watched a more console video about this fallen statue. Very cool. You should watch it. And he pulled out his ghost, and it was the ghost, and then the sparrow he called was that jealousy. And I thought, man, I wonder how much he spent. Like, I wonder how much he put into doing that, or I don't know. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy that I didn't spend any dollars on it. I actually only did one of the treasures on each system, and I just felt so defeated by the whole thing. The whole thing just felt so gross that even when I opened those two treasures, like, it was like, oh, sweet, an Eris Morn mask. I already had this. Like, it was just a slap in the face. And it just feels gross. I'm ready to get to something that's actually worth my time or worth my money, like I was willing to buy $20 on each system. I was willing to put that kind of money out there to pick up some stuff, but I just feel like the RNG is really working against you, like there really is like a casino there. Maybe if it was like it looked like a slot machine. Maybe if it was like instead of you could get some cool stuff, it was like haha sucker, like maybe if they jabbed it a little bit more, I'd be interested in purchasing those things, but I didn't. And really, the treasures just really, they brought down the whole thing. Like I didn't take nearly as many videos or as many pictures. The best thing about the whole festival was, I mean, it did look cool, but the best thing was that broom. And I still have it in my inventory. It changed to something else when I tried to write it, but I don't know. That's all I had to say about the Festival of Lost. It made me sad. I was just constantly reminded that if I was going to get anything cool out of this, I would have to make the purchase. I almost bought that Terrify emote, and I almost bought that Thriller emote because both of those seemed really cool. But I just kind of felt like I didn't need to. It would definitely be something if I could map the emotes that I have. Like I bought Formal Bow, and that has just stayed on my characters the whole time. Like I bought the Formal Bow. It's the only one that I can change, and so buying any more at all would be worthless. Would be totally worthless. Not interested in that. So yeah, until I can map which emotes I want, I'm happy with Formal Bow. I don't need to spend any more money. Jez, did you have any parting words for Festival of the Lost? Do you think of something between now and last week that you want to send it off? See ya.
Work on your report card for next year.
Work on my report card for next year. What do you mean?
Yeah, not yours. Festival of Lost.
Oh, okay.
Needs to up its grades.
It does need to up its grades, or else it's not going to pass. Let's see, Agrios, what did you have any parting words for Festival of the Lost?
Last year was more fun, and I wasn't even impressed last year.
Yeah.
I ended up getting the double ghost, like probably one of the least wanted things on the list of things I could have got that were cooler than some mask I didn't really want, or a duplicate of a mask I already had from last year.
Yeah.
I think I've pretty much said everything I had to say about Festival of Lost in a previous week.
Cool.
I don't really have much to add to that conversation. I didn't feel the excitement this year. Yeah. And not only did I not feel the excitement with you, but it actually worked against it. Every time I go into the tower, I was like, oh, Festival of the Lost. Oh, that's right. You can't get anything unless you actually buy money, or you actually buy silver. Well, no, that's not even true. You just can't necessarily get anything.
I mean, when
silver doesn't equate to you even getting what you want, depending on how much you can dump into it. You know
absolutely,
what I mean?
Absolutely.
Why does everyone disregard the shaders? It's probably the most useful part.
Okay, this
people are actually going to use.
You're totally right. I don't know when the next time I'm going to take Super Black off of any of my characters is, because it does look really cool. I am really pleased with that.
And while I agree, Jez, the shaders were cool this year, and that's a great aspect. But I felt like that was a goal. That was something that was like met at a minimum. Like, I don't feel like that's something I need to applaud. Oh, good job. You gave us some new colors for our costumes. That's just kind of a given. Like, good thing they did that too, at least.
Well, the thing that I say is, like, you're not going to wear any of the howling or the blazing wolf mask, or you're probably not even going to use the ghost. You're going to have a better roll on a different ghost, and you're just going to use that, or a better looking ghost. But the shaders, people are still going to play around with. Someone's still going to be wearing that come April of next year.
See, even if I had a not perfect rule ghost, I don't know that I'd ever rock a different ghost than that, because most of my characters with my loadouts that I end up putting on don't quite make that over to tier 12 anyway. So having 2 points down, 3 points down on my ghost isn't going to kill me.
But are you more likely to use a ghost than any other ghost? Just for the hilarity of having a ghost wearing a sheet?
Yeah, if I had it, I probably, like I said, that would probably be the ghost that I would have at my max light and move around to all my characters and just be the ghost I use. Yeah.
It would be cool.
Maybe they'll have an SRL ghost.
Like right now, that's the intruder shell, the black one, just because of the good roll and everything on it, and it's all black, so it was like two-tone black. That's kind of cool. So that's the one I use on all my characters all the time.
I'll be waiting until I get
would be cool.
Until I get the hard mode raid ghost with a perfect roll. That'd be nice.
I agree. It is. It looks very cool. And you know what? And that was something that actually led to my not being interested in purchasing any treasure chests or treasures, was the fact that hard raid ghost looks really sweet. It looks really cool. Am I going to want to use that over, like you're saying, this this sub-rolled ghost? So, I mean, I have a ton of them. And what I've been doing is I've been picking my favorites and keeping them in the vault. Like one of the Vanguard, one of the chocolate, and just keeping them out of the pool so that I can, I don't know. I seem to be getting quite a few ghosts, so it's like I need to keep the stuff I have on hand rotating quickly. And so once I find one that I like, I just go and save it. I don't know.
Something I haven't said about this whole situation before, and I think it fits here, is I think part of my real problem, aside from if you're knocking out the whole slot machine RNG stuff, part of my whole problem with the way they're handling the Eververse and the events is I feel like you need to almost at least have a mirror image on the free-to-play and pay-to-play side of that sort of transaction. Like, I feel like if they were going to have what was available behind their paywall, they should have also had 2 unique ghosts, a unique sparrow, and stuff like that you just could have gotten through the event. Not anything like the ones that are behind the paywall, but I feel like when you have that sort of set up in a game, you need to provide interesting rewards like that you can get just by playing the game that you've already purchased.
I agree.
And I feel like there's a huge lack of that with the way Bungie's handling their events.
Definitely. I feel like there wasn't much for people who weren't interested in continuing to play, but didn't want to spend money, and you're totally right. I was actually thinking that very same thing. It would be a very cool thing, well, here's this, special ghost, or here's this special thing, but it's not the same ones that we're selling. That would be excellent.
Part of the miracle of the free-to-play system, or a system supplemented by microtransactions like that, is that the people who don't have the money to pay into it get the benefits of the company, they're playing the game for, earning money and being able to make a better game. And the people who have the money to pay into it get the benefit of having a lot of people to play with. So by not giving the people who aren't putting money into it an equal amount to work toward and get excited about and, add to the hype, you're defeating part of the purpose of the whole system, it feels like.
Man, you've really hit something, because you're totally right. If I had a way to remove the feeling of guilt and dirtiness of purchasing treasure chests, and this is what we were talking about with those stupid blue masks. There was something to chase that didn't cost dollars, and once I got a cool blue mask, I knew I wanted to buy one of those other things, because no matter what that came with, I knew I could break it down for glue and I could save the one I wanted. That is what generated the hype for me. There was no generation of hype. There was, okay, well, if you really want anything, you need to buy a bunch of these things, especially when you see big name streamers paying hundreds of dollars to not get what they want. That's insane.
To not even get it.
Right.
Not even get it.
So, it just cut me down at the knees. I just was not at all interested in, I just couldn't generate hype. You're totally right. They needed to do something like last year where you could chase something, and then once you had it, you didn't want to let it go. I really think that they should have revived the whole glue situation, because think about this. Think about if you could have earned that ghost as a blue ghost, but it was going to go away at the end of the festival. But if you bought a treasure, you would get this piece of glue. You would have generated. I would have been excited, right?
Ghost core.
right, a ghost core. But I don't know. I just never, it just never caught fire with me. Like I was super excited every time I wanted to go somewhere and I pulled out a broom. That was awesome. That was really awesome. I missed that broom. Um, Sharks, do you have any parting views on this Festival of the Lost?
Yeah. Thanks for all my pumpkin heads and my my little bat things. That was awesome. I've got so many saved up. Also want to thank you for, this is going thanks to Bungie, obviously, and the live team. Thank you for my shaders. Even though everybody's trashing Festival of the Lost, I had a great time. In fact, I had so much fun that I almost went into trials wearing my mask, but I thought that my two teammates might not be very happy if I did that, but I wanted some more pumpkin heads. But yeah, no, it was great. I thought it was awesome.
Well, that's good. Gray, do you have parting words for Festival of the Lost?
This is kind of like when they say 4 out of 5 dentists agree. Sharks is the 5th dentist. That everybody's like, who the hell's that guy? Yeah, as Knock is in our chat, and Knock had a quote during our Wrath of the Machine raid that was perfect. We had an LFG guy come in for 5 minutes and then drop us, and Knock's message to him was, yeah, get out of here. Can't get out of here fast enough. That's my message to the Bungie team and the Festival of the Lost. I'm ready to move on from it. I'm ready for the community to quit bickering about it, just because I think we've beaten the dead horse. I think that they had a lot of failures that they had. They had some successes. I love my shaders that I got. But I think they can do better. I hope they do better on the next one.
I feel like there's two sides to this team who did this. There was the side that decorated the tower, looks really cool. There's this, and then there's the side that was like, oh, well, we'll sell something. Like in the side who decorated, the side who who was responsible for trying to make this feel like a cool thing. The visuals were great. The shaders were great, and but I don't know. 4 out of 5 dentists. But yeah, I didn't buy anything. I'm really happy I didn't buy anything. I wanted to, and I almost did because I wanted to.
I do want to say that besides the people are not happy with Festival because of the stuff behind the paywall. I do want to bring that up. Even though I say I love Festival of the Lost, I did not spend any money, and that was on purpose. I didn't spend any money because the only way that Bungie will ever understand that it's wrong to put stuff behind an RNG paywall is to not buy. And it is very, very difficult for a collector to not buy, but I did not buy. Okay.
Well, I mean, collector and super fan.
Yep.
You play Destiny so much, and I know that you also want to help support them. Like, I know that you also want to see Bungie do well. I know you want to see Destiny, continue. And I know that you want to give these people money. I want to give these people money. But I can't do it for RNG. I can't do it for a chance to get something cool. I can't do it. I won't do it. There's no reason for me to buy something that I might get. Frustrating. Insanely frustrating, because I want to give them money. Like I've said previously, I would just hand them money. Like I would just give them money for nothing. I would rather give them money for nothing than a chance at getting something that's kind of cool. What was an awesome, really, really awesome. I did not make it to the lighthouse. And for that, but I did see somebody had taken a picture of that secret area underneath in that area in Mercury at the lighthouse. And there was like boxes of the candles and the decorations that were all around the tower and the reef and the Iron Temple. And this, and it gives me goosebumps thinking about it, that, maybe Osiris is behind this. Like he goes and he decorates these areas. Like it was just such a cool little Easter egg. So
He's
much.
He's like Santa Claus. He
Right.
doesn't show up. But he's out there somewhere. So that was proof. Yep.
Right, and that was really, really cool. Really well done. I love Festival of the Lost. I want to see it be something like, at least like the first one. You know, the first one wasn't perfect, but this was a step backwards. It was a step backwards in it. It makes me sad. But again, I'm glad that I didn't spend any money on it. About Titanfall. I didn't have to wonder if the dollars that I spent were going to get me what I want. I was just able to buy what I want. You know what? What about that also, Agrios? What about you? Okay, so there should be 3 different loot streams. Like maybe there should be the stuff that you can earn for free, which is one. There should be that same stuff, but you can buy it individually for like specifically, and then there's the stuff behind the RNG wall. I could get along with that. Because if I was
on anything behind an RNG real money paywall in a game targeting kids.
Hey, I know that. I'm not so hard-lined with that. But I feel like they're never going to drop the RNG. But I feel like they need to have something else. They need to add something that supplements it for the people who might need a little bit of an oomph, you know? So, I don't know. Moving on. We got other stuff to talk about. I did want to say, and I meant to say this before I started going off on Festival of the Lost, but I wanted to get it out of the way. Mark Square, congratulations to Mark Square. Thank you very much for joining Guardian 1. Mark Square is a Guardian who is very, very cool, creator of memes. He is an artist. And very, very awesome, very kind, very friendly. I had him go out with me and Gray, and we played some Crucible, and had a really nice time, had a really nice chat. And so thank you very much for joining Guardian 1. He is the founder of Banana Guard on the Xbox, and that group of gentlemen really helped me out with some stuff in year 1. Or year 2, I can't really remember. Year 1, I think. It's all a blur. Everything past Taken King is a blur. But it's really great to have you as part of Guardian 1. Welcome. Okay. That's all I have. Oh, no. Okay, so I had been thinking about this. I had been thinking about a way to make the game feel more interactive if they weren't going to give us an NPC. And the ghost said something to me the other day. Let me see. I wrote it down. The ghost says something like, lots of sniper activity in this area. Do you want to whittle down their numbers? And it just occurred to me that it would be really awesome if I could choose yes or no. He asked me a question. If I select yes, then he would give me more information. It would be like a bounty, or it would be like a bounty just dropped into my lap. And if I choose no, then he says, well, wherever you want to go. But it would be something like just a way to interact with the world that is not, it's not game breaking, but it allows me to, like in Starship Troopers, would you like to know more? And this is just, I've just really been trying to figure out ways for Bungie, because I'm certain they need this. You know what it is I'm going to think about this anyways. And so being able to share it with other people who will be able to pick it apart and give me their thoughts on this. But yeah, it would be really cool if when the ghost asks me a question, if I could give him an answer. And then if I do say yes, then he could put something up on my heads up display. Like, what if I'm just going to work on some bounties on a planet surface, and as soon as I get there, he asks me if I want to do this, or, I don't know. I just feel like that's a really small way that you could incorporate player choice, player interactivity. Because he asked me and I had no way of telling him yes or no. It went one way. He asked me a question. I just ignored him as far as he's concerned. And that bothered me. I wanted to answer him because even if I said no, then he'd be like, okay, well, whatever. I mean, this could go all the way up to NPCs, you know, and I guess it kind of does when an NPC says to you, "Oh, well, here's this quest. Do you wish to take this quest?" But I feel like that's different than some kind of informal conversation. You have to take the quest unless you don't want the quest, and really, it doesn't feel like it. So, Jez, do you have anything to add or knock down out of this idea? Do you think it's good or bad or what?
No, it sounds fine. I'm not sure how I would knock it down though.
Well, I don't know. You're pretty good at saying the word no.
No, it's a horrible idea. Never think of it again.
Right. Agrios, what do you think about that? Something where the ghost says something to you and then you're given a yes or a no, and then it just moves on just the slightest bit into working directly onto a bounty or them pointing out to you, because I know that we've talked about, when the ghost says that, he doesn't really mean it. It's just there is no difference when he says there's a lot of sniper activity in here, or the cabals are moving around majors. There's no difference. Those words.
You don't understand. You're being mind controlled by the traveler through the ghost. Those aren't actually questions. Those are the hypnotic statements to make you do the will of the traveler.
Would you kindly kill those snipers?
Would you kindly? Exactly. I knew that guy was.
It's just like, want to kill those snipers? And you're like, yeah, kill snipers.
Okay, then check this out. I will accept your traveler mind control premise, but in that case, what I want to see is a bigger influx of snipers. Like, there actually is no difference between the place where I landed and the place where he's describing more snipers. There is no snipers. Nothing changes about it. So what I want to see is, I guess it's two things now. I guess I want to be able to say yes or no to him when he says, "Oh, be careful about snipers." And then I want that to be changed. I want the modifier to be changed.
Now, joking aside, I feel like there should definitely be more choice in the game. I mean, we've mentioned this before. I think that would help work toward the immersion issues that the game has for me and stuff like that. So, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I'd love to see choice throughout the entire game. I mean, they touched on it a little bit with like the different paths in the new Strike, but I want to see something where you get to choose which path you take in the Strike. Maybe you're a strong sniper. Maybe you are a strong close quarters combat person. Well, if you learn, your way around the map, you can make choices to benefit your strengths and things like that. I just love to see, something be more personal to me in that regard.
I think that we just stumbled along challenge mode 4 strikes. Like, imagine that you could take one of 3 roads. One of them is the sniper road. And if you go through and kill everybody with a sniper rifle, you get some kind of special, something, one of your medals that you've always been talking about, or you go through the sniper route and you have to kill everybody with a sidearm or something where the difficulty is turned up. You don't have to do it. You can just choose whichever one and blow through it. No problem. But I just want more choices. I just want there to even be false choices, I just need to feel like I'm more involved in it, and I don't know when I'm ever going to get over the ghost saying, "Oh, remember when I found you here?" Like I wish that he would stop saying that. I wish they'd quit throwing that in my face because it takes me out. It takes me back to Dinklebot, and then I rant about it on this show for like forever. People got to be tired of that. Let's ask the people in chat. Chat, are you tired of me talking about that? Because I'm tired of talking about it. But more than tired of talking about it, I'm tired of feeling that way. Quit throwing it in my face. That's all I'm asking. Say anything else. Remember yesterday, or remember when the Taken King showed up, and we were like, "Oh, shooting the fallen." Have him say something that doesn't ruin it for people who've been there for so long. Yeah, and I can't even imagine the people at Bungie who have been listening to that Dinklebot for even longer than we have. They have to be feeling the same thing. Somebody else is upset about this as well. Sharks, what do you think about this? false choices or just dropping to the surface and having there actually be a modifier change. I know that you've heard the same thing where it's like, oh, sniper activity in this area, but nothing changes. I need there, if he's going to say more sniper activity, I need to see the more snipers. And then if he's going to ask me if I want to go dwindle their numbers, I want to be able to say yes or no. I want to know more. Where are these snipers? What do you think?
Okay, so the problem with what you're proposing is you're adding more content, and I'm not just talking a little bit of content. You're adding a lot more content to every single situation that the ghost is talking. For instance, okay, do you want to go after these snipers or continue on with what you're doing? Oh yeah, I want to go after these snipers. Okay, so now you want there to be a whole bunch more snipers and an event basically happening. So I think it's a little bit unrealistic at this point of the game to expect that to be added. Maybe in a different game like Destiny 2, having that kind of stuff there, yeah, and giving the player like, okay, would you like to go to the war stat because a war stat has happened instead of just racing to the war stat. I like the idea of having choices and stuff like that in the game, but I don't think it's really realistic because you're just adding too much stuff to it. Go on.
Hi, sweetheart. I think that you're going to be that fifth dentist the whole episode. I see what you're saying.
So I have to come on this podcast sometimes and defend the game I love, and I rant about this game a lot, but in the last week, I have really been thinking about the game. I mean, I'm at the point now where it's, everything I have is 400. I've now completed everything at least once. And so I have to look at the positives of the game. Why do I come back and play more? And so I'll be that fifth dentist tonight. That's fine. Normally, actually, I have to say, Jez is usually pretty good at being the fifth dentist, but
right, almost always.
I will totally do it tonight. And it's not that I don't want what you're asking for, Remy. I just don't think that adding it into the game that we have at this point is realistic because it changes too much and it adds too much.
See, I don't think that it changes too much. I don't think that it adds too much. I think that we're talking about the slightest sliver. I mean, probably the most jarring for this system would be getting Nolan North to go in and re-record some of these, like what he says next. I think that would be the most intensive part of this.
It probably would just be easier to have both paths open to you and you just pick organically rather than, hey, you want to go here?
Right. And to be quite honest, you do have choices already. Okay, here's the... Well, okay, no. So you do have choices already. You don't have to go this way. You don't have to go that way. You can engage or you can't engage. I see that you're, maybe get some kind of reward. I mean, that's almost what it sounds like, that, oh, you want to go and do that and complete it, get XP or whatever, not necessarily reward. But I don't know. I still think that it's adding a little bit too much to it. The other thing that you have to realize is you're talking about what is happening on patrol. Okay, so you're in this big area. Your ghost is saying, "Hey, look, there's snipers over there. Do you want to go engage?" Well, okay, so say you say yes, and suddenly you get all these extra snipers. What about the people that are already doing stuff in that section? Now that stuff is going on, and that changes their game too. So they're kind of forced to, if they want to do anything more in this area, they're going to have to go engage those enemies that you brought upon.
See, I'm thinking more of like in Stories and Strikes when I was commenting.
And in that case, you have to worry about. You basically have to have everyone basically vote. Hey, do we want to do this?
Right, because like on a strike, there's 3 people.
Well, but how often do people have to vote on whether or not
there activates the path?
What I mean, how many times have you been just in patrol and a public event has happened? Do people vote on that? They vote on it by either shooting at the things, or they leave the area, or they just ignore it altogether. Like I think that what you're saying, I understand what you're saying. I just don't feel like it's any bigger. It's definitely not bigger than a public event. Like the public event despawns areas, creatures in the area, and you know when this happened for me was when I went to Venus. I went to Venus, and there is no enemies in that first area, and
Okay,
that's
but what happens when you go? Okay, so sometimes it happens when you go into an area, right? Okay, so say there's a public event going already. When a public event happens, only so many NPC players and so many actual players can be in that area, right? So now you're asking for another event to happen at the same time. So you're going to get that many more characters in that area, and that doesn't happen.
Well, no, it does. It does. I've had public events going on at the same time that the Taken have shown up. Like these things happen. They double down often.
Yes.
No, because all the other things despawn. Everything
So
else
and I don't think that we necessarily need to have. This is a reworking of the mechanic that engages the public event, right? You can have what Remy's asking for, and just have that be the trigger for the public event, as opposed to the event happening and you approaching it being the trigger for the public event.
But he's asking for more than just the public event. He's asking for a lot of the times that the ghost is talking, because the ghost is it's a way to. I mean, the whole point in what he's saying is to get you to interact more with the ghost and the whole story. And I understand it. I just don't think doing it that way is necessarily. I just don't think it's going to happen in this game set.
No,
we kind of have that already with some of the strikes. It's just you don't choose it. It's just random. Is it going to be taken this time? No.
Right. Okay. So, but then there's two things. There's what you're talking about, Sharks, and then there is. I want what this ghost just said to me to be real. I don't want it to be fluff. I don't want it to be, bullshit. So basically what it is, oh, hey, there's extra snipers in this area. Be careful. There's no extra snipers. It pulls me out. I know that nothing has changed. Why did you say that to me, ghost? I want to smash you. So what? I can't pull up my ghost, or I can't pull up my sparrow anymore. So what? I can't go to orbit. You'll shut up and you will stop saying these lies to me. It just breaks the game for me.
No, but here's the other thing that I wanted to put into this is, okay, so you, as players that go through this content over and over and over again, we hear people get very upset that, they don't want to have to do that same thing over again. Don't want to have to listen to that. I want to go and do what I already planned. I've come onto this planet and I'm going to go and meet my friend in so-and-so area. Why do I have to listen to this crap? This stupid ghost ask me this every time I land here. So you're going to get that problem too. It's just a dumb problem, but I can totally see people saying, oh, this is so annoying. Why is a ghost always asking me this when I just want to go to point B? Again, I still agree with you. It would be really cool to have more choices.
Gray, why don't you give us your input and then we'll move on.
So I have a different criticism of it, and it more centers around playing with other people. I wouldn't want the interruption to be so blatant that it affects the interaction that you're having with the people that you're playing with. To where you're enjoying a moment in the game and all of a sudden it's like, crap, my ghost is bugging me again. And I have to make a selection option on my screen to move forward. If they implemented that kind of a mechanic, I would hope that it would live in the background, and if you didn't push a button, then it just went away on its own. Like, you wouldn't have to respond. You could just ignore it if you wanted to. With that said, what you're asking for about two-way dialogue, two-way communication in-game, I think is very important. I hope it comes in Destiny 2 in some form, even if it's with those NPCs in the social areas, that you can have a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of response. More of what you see in a lot of other games like Fallout or Mass Effect, where you do have some selections, you can be a little bit more interactive with them. And if we can have some of that maybe in the story elements of the game with our ghost, as opposed to the strikes and the missions that you're running with friends and different things like that, in the heart of those moments, I wouldn't necessarily want the disruption of having a dialogue interaction that I have to make a selection with my ghost, especially if it means that it's going to disrupt the flow of play and conversation with my fellow players.
Okay, so this stems from my trying to figure out how people can be more engaged in the game. I play a lot by myself. I play a lot of patrol. I play a lot of things where I don't have to have a microphone on, and so I'm using the examples of when I used to run all the time with sharks and Agrios in the middle of the night until basically we were all just sleeping anyways at the controller. And we would basically just ignore what was going on in the game, and we would just be chit-chatting, and we'd just be shooting bad guys and trying to gain loot. Like we weren't at all interacting with the game. We were interacting with each other in the game, but we weren't worried about what the ghost was saying. And so I can see what you're trying to say about you wouldn't want it to interrupt that activity, but at the same time, like, what is going on around you? And I really feel like this is a, do you want to know more type situation where it's, if you want to do this, cool. Like maybe there would be a way that you could ask the ghost if there was something to do, I don't know. Anyways, we should move on. And I was actually just going to throw it to Agrios right now, but maybe we should throw it to Agrios' chair. Agrios' chair, what do you got for us on the front of Destiny? Anything new, exciting? Anything that we should be going over first? I know we're definitely going to have to hit Iron Banner, and I want you to read, I really want you to read large chunks of it because the specific wording is important. And I know that we had a big chat about this in the Guardian 1 Twitter chat. What do you got for us?
All right. So this week we had a hot fix where they made a couple of changes to the way things are working in day-to-day Destiny. Quality of life improvements, if you will, in some cases. They fixed an issue where the Rise of Iron, Vanguard, and Crucible weapons were not decrypting from engrams. So finally, we can stop getting Diluvian after Diluvian after Diluvian.
No, I still get Diluvian after Diluvian. I hate it. I hate it.
Well, hopefully you have more odds of getting something else now. They fixed an issue where the Comitatus, that's right, was continuing to not drop from the faction packages for players who own the Kondratyx escape ship from Dead Orbit. They fixed an issue where the armor decrypted from Dusty Engrams was dismantling into legendary marks. It will now dismantle into 1 silver dust. They removed silver dust cost to apply Iron Lord, Trials of Osiris, and heroic mode raid armor ornaments, as they had previously noted they were going to. You know what? I never followed up on that. Does anyone know if anybody received any sort of refund if they had already put ones on?
They didn't.
I didn't think so. I hadn't noticed anything. I figured that would be something that would have stood out.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
So players will now earn SIVA key fragments at an overall increased rate. The first time a raid boss is killed on normal difficulty, they'll drop 3 SIVA fragments. For the next kill that week, they'll drop 2, and then 1 for the 3rd kill that week. After the 4th or greater kill, the boss will no longer drop SIVA key fragments for the week.
Okay,
so will occur for killing heroic bosses.
I have a question on this. I want to hear from the panel. My raid group was talking about this because I and a lot of people that we play with are kind of bummed on this because there are people that will go out and they will do the raid over and over and over again. And what was nice in the past is that you always got those keys. And that's kind of the incentive to go back and play it over and over and over again. Okay, so my question is, these 4 times that they're talking about, Are they talking 4 times in total per account, or is it per character?
Good question. I would assume per character, just like the raid rewards are done per character.
Yeah, I was going to say that I don't know for certain, but I would definitely say per character is what they're making it sound like.
Yeah,
Jez?
I mean, I hope that that's what it is, and that's what my group is saying. You know, at least it would be better because then technically you can still go in there 12 times. 12 times is a lot in a week, but if it's not, it really stinks.
Yeah, the number 3 makes me think it might actually be a count, but that would be a really horrible change if they did that.
Yeah. Right, that would be horribly suckage if your first character you got 3 and then your second character you got 2. Like what are you doing? Like I feel like what they're trying to do is curtail somebody running through on the same character over and over and over and over and over. But I guess somebody should figure this out before next week, and we will talk about it then.
All right. Now, something to note, they also discovered some of the reasons why people may be losing some of the CVIII keys and CVIII key fragments that they have stored. This has to do with if you go to orbit, leaving CVIII key fragments dropped from bosses on the ground, or there's another thing there here. Let me find it here. Okay, yeah. So the players report that this may occur when leaving white engrams containing CVIII key fragments within the game world when returning to orbit or turning off a console. Players report that this may occur when CVIII key fragments within the postmaster are removed due to the postmaster inventory limits. So if you lose CVIII keys because of doing these things, I guess they're saying that this may cause other ones in your inventory to also be lost at the same time?
This is crazy talk. Has anyone had it happen here?
I haven't lost it. I haven't lost any, no. I've had it where I tried to do keys in game, and I haven't had that happen since the first week. But try to make a key, and it would go to the post office. But I've never lost fragments. No, not that I know of.
Yeah, not that you know of. I was thinking about modifying my statement as well.
Yeah. Anybody else, or nobody else plays the raid?
I shook my head already.
I definitely don't think I've lost any. I haven't gotten really that many to have lost yet. I haven't really completed the raid very many times. But from the descriptions I've read on the Reddit and whatnot, the people who have lost it are the ones who seem to have a larger number of them too. But this just might be because they're acquiring a larger number at a quicker rate. They also run the risk of having left ones on the ground or had them bumped out of their postmaster, like it's saying here, and which is what caused them to go missing. But what it seemed like, a lot of the stories seemed to go, well, I put them all in the vault, and I had 30 fragments and 8 keys, and I went back today and I had 16 fragments and 4 keys. And it always seems to be, people dumping them all in one spot seems to be part of what's involved with it, just from, this is anecdotal from reading the ones on the subreddit and whatnot, but I definitely haven't had a larger quantity to have, gone missing.
Yeah, I've got about 42 fragments on my hunter and 2 keys, so I'm starting to get to the threshold where I'm a little concerned that something might go missing, but I haven't had anything actually turn up missing yet.
Well, I mean, if they're right, and hopefully, this might be the only way these are going missing. Like I said, people who are getting more early on were probably at a higher risk to do these 2 things. So as long as you avoid what they've listed there, hopefully you'll be okay.
Moving on.
So this week we have the Iron Banner, of course, as you mentioned before. They brought Crucible designer Jeremiah Paschel in to discuss their thought process on the rewards for the Iron Banner in the Bungie Weekly Update this week. To summarize their goals, he says, as a player, I can play Iron Banner and be rewarded fairly for my time regardless of which days of the week work with my schedule. And he elaborates on this, that They want you to play Iron Banner for fun and rewards. They don't want you to have to do complex math, abstain from participating until your investment is optimal, or feel like you have to grind for the sake of grinding. This event is technically more rewarding than ever in multiple ways, and they hope that the expressed goal reflects your experience. And as always, they welcome feedback. What do you guys think? Are they nailing the rewards finally? Do you feel rewarded for your time? Do you feel like you're rewarded no matter when and how you play Iron Banner?
Okay.
Benny?
I think we have quite a bit of feedback for them. I feel like in the beginning, I was not impressed with them taking away the daily bounties. They said here that they didn't want people to like people were having to make it a point to go in on each of their characters every day, even if they didn't plan on playing with each of their characters, so that they could gather up these bounties. When they explained it like that, that made a lot of sense. But what that did to my game was that I was unable to build slowly over time up to get to ranks 3 and 5. And so with them increasing the reputation of wins, I feel like I am able to, with what little wins come my way, I am able to move up faster than I was previously. And I don't know what it is. I think before it was 150. I think a win now is 300. Am I wrong on this? Who knows? Sharks, do you know? Jez, do you know?
I think it's 250.
It's 250 now? Okay.
If I remember.
Okay. Because I feel like I'm moving up much quicker, and I'm not stressed about the wins, because that's really what it came down to for me last Iron Banner, was without these additional bounties, I got all my bounties done and I was like rank 3, and then came the 9 streak loss. And it's maddening. It's hair-pullingly maddening to play that many games and not get anything for it, and know you're not going to get anything for those 4 other games that were past the first 5 medallions. Like I don't know that I've ever had a darker low in Destiny, in Crucible, ever. And it was really upsetting. And I know that that's not what Bungie's aiming for. So they took away the daily bounties. They increased your reputation gains when you did win. And now they're focusing on drops within within Iron Banner at the end game screen, and you have an opportunity for 2 weapons and 2 pieces of gear per character through these 4 weekly bounties. I feel like they've done a good job. I feel like what the system they have right now, I feel like I'm moving up at a decent rate. I'm not worried about am I losing? I'm worried about playing the game. And that's really what I needed when they didn't have it the way it was last time. The losses, I felt so much more. I felt so much more from those losses, but I think that the drops are great. I'm personally at a place where I will get a mediocre to okay roll on a weapon, and when that happens, I think, and this is the reason that my whole vault is full of weapons, is I think to myself, well, am I going to get a better roll on this gun? Like, I got a Cryptic Dragon, and it's got 3 very decent perks, but it's not what I would like to. It's not like what I would like to roll with. So do I keep this one? Do I hope for a better one? I do still enjoy the fact that they have the specific weapons on sale from Aphrodite. I'm really glad that you can go and see exactly what you're purchasing. When, like, if you just wanted to get to rank 5 to get that Cryptic Dragon, you can totally do that. You know exactly what it is. You can get rid of the other ones. You don't have to worry about, am I going to get a great roll? You can use those rolls as infusion fodder, which does feel really good. It feels really good to get a purple and then realize, this is an okay roll. This is not a good roll. I will just use it to infuse. I feel like this Iron Banner, and I've also moved up much quicker in all of the bounties. I got the first one done in almost the first game. Always that one is very easy to do. And then the other 3, they've all moved up incrementally at almost the same exact speed. And I feel like I haven't put in so much time that it's not worth it. I feel like the balance that they've struck right now for me is perfect. Like, I don't always get a legendary drop, but when I do, I either like the light or it's nice looking at the different things. Jez, what do you think about this Iron Banner? What do you think about these changes they've made to it? Do you even play Destiny?
Well, so I dropped into Iron Banner a couple times, and then I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't really need this anymore. I don't need Clever Dragon and Shotgun exclusively. No.
I see. So is it just based around the fact that you keep getting beat down by these same two items, or is it more that you've already got what you need elsewhere, and this was an interesting experiment, and you've just moved on?
Well, it's like I jump in and everything goes way too fast than even it used to, because everyone has pretty much basically a Grasp Moloch, and they're all decent rolls. Yeah.
Is that the archetype that Cryptic Dragon is?
It's the fast fire rate, except Grasp Moloch has like so many different things that it could be, but all of what Cryptic Dragon can be is generally good. It's harder to get a bad roll, really. So it's just, I don't know, it feels like there is no way to play except conform to whatever is currently there.
Yeah, I get that. I know that feeling. That fifth dentist is making noises over there. We'll get to you in just a second, fifth dentist. Agrios, what do you think about this? Are you enjoying these changes, or do you want me to wait until they end for you? Screw it. Just tell me what you think.
I don't have a very big problem with anything they're doing right now in particular, though I do miss some of the way they had it before. As a whole, I feel like it's requiring me more total time put in during the week to get all 3 characters to 5.
But you don't have to get all 3 characters to 5 anymore, because they dropped the packages at 5.
True.
So and the only reason you have to get to 5 at all is if you want that specific weapon that is at level 5. Like, that's part of the reason, and I'm sorry that I didn't mention this. I'm glad that you did. That's part of the reason I think that this whole thing has taken a weight off of my shoulders, is because I was trying to grind all characters to 5 so that I could get that package. That package doesn't exist anymore, so I can just continue to play for rewards through end game drops, or I can work through those 4 bounties. And if I really want that thing, which I'm going to work to 5 for that Cryptic Dragon because it looks pretty sweet. So then you don't have to. If you want to complete those other bounties, you can. Guaranteed 2 armor, guaranteed 2 weapons. But true. Otherwise,
I haven't played very much this week, so I haven't had a lot of time to wrap my head around the whole situation, to be honest. I only played a few matches earlier today with Lawn Boy and K-Dub, and my first match I got a 400 artifact, and my second match I got a 400 clever dragon. I guess the only thing that I would say that would still apply to this from the first Iron Banner would be that missing the daily bounties, it gave you more things just to work toward. I enjoyed having the goals just there to work toward. I feel like if I were to make an improvement, like I really don't have very many problems with the current setup as it is. I enjoy the setup as it is. I feel like it's very rewarding for my time put in, regardless of whether I'm putting more or less time in it than before. But I think if I were going to suggest something to improve it, would be to have a lot more bounties than the bounties that are available there for the total week. Maybe so many that, I can only pick, well, I'm going to take these 5 out this time, and then eventually I'll replace them as I stop back at the Iron Temple throughout the week with other ones that I want to work on. I'll strategically pick which ones I want to work on first and stuff like that, maybe something like that. Like, kind of Trials has your gold tier, your silver tier. All those bounties don't have to all just, maybe some of them just give marks and rep. or something like that, repping something else. I don't know. I just enjoy having challenges and goals to work toward as I play throughout the week. I feel like as it sits now, if the way it felt to me last week is, I'm going to plow through those bounties, not have them there anymore, and then literally just be grinding control matches basically the rest of the week. Whereas I enjoyed having that interactivity when I was playing, like going to that screen to check it and be like, oh, I've got to work toward this. I like working toward that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's what Shax's weekly bounty is now. Like it's a laundry list of things that you can do. I mean, this week's was control, right? And so it was the special week control, and so you get possibly up to 400, right? That's what the weekly bounty.
I always had that before anyway. Iron Banner was always more stuff to do in addition to that. That's true. Shaq's weekly bounty took the place of having to do 5 separate different weekly bounties.
Totally.
To get that.
I tell you what, not having to log in on each of my 6 characters every day and trying to make room, like getting rid of all the other bounties so that I can make up all of this, I don't know. I feel like
that's why I said I like the not having to log in and do that. That's why I'm saying just have more weekly ones.
Yeah,
you don't have to log in every day. You just go get them when you're done with them. They're there the whole week. There's 15 of them.
Right. I could see that. I could see that. Sharks, what do you think about this? What do you think about the current state of the Iron Banner?
Okay, so first off, I want to laugh. And I'm laughing at you, Remy, and it's not meant in a bad way, but I am laughing at you. Because they did not change anything between this Iron Banner and last Iron Banner. You feel that this Iron Banner is better, it's easier, whatnot, because you're playing Control and you're not playing Supremacy.
Okay,
that's true.
But they did change it. They did change how much reputation you gain for a win.
No,
not between last Iron Banner and this one. They did before the last Iron Banner.
No, they said it in this thing. They said that they've upped the reputation.
Right. No, they've upped the reputation for Rise of Iron compared to old Iron Banner.
Right. You guys got to give Remy a little bit of credit. He would have no way of knowing what the rep was during last Iron Banner.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm laughing, and I'm laughing not at you, with you, but I am laughing at you. It's like you were really upset last Iron Banner, and it's because it was Supremacy. You hate Supremacy, which is fine. You may eventually grow into loving Supremacy, but this is why this has felt easier for you. It's because it's Control. We all know Control. We did Control from original, when the very first time they ever brought Iron Banner to us, way back before the beginning. So that's why you feel it's easier. It's and the rep gains are not any different this time than last time. Okay?
Are you sure? Because listen to this. It says in this it says under ranks, it says the rate at which you gain reputation in Iron Banner was also increased to make unlocking those rank restricted rewards less time consuming. I'm telling you, that was different this time than last Iron Banner. Jez?
Well, you have to look at the overall paragraph when they're talking about the Iron Banner as it's been designed and redesigned.
Okay.
It's talking about the launch of Destiny Rise of Iron. The entire thing.
I don't know. I can see why you think that.
It says, the competition has endured many evolutions since Saladin first appeared in the tower. The launch of Destiny Rise of Iron was no exception. With Guardians grabbing bounties and ranking up under a new system, Crucible designer Jeremy Pichel has some notes on what's new in this monthly ritual.
Right.
Okay, but this is listed right underneath. You'll no longer have to reach rank 5 on all of your characters to unlock all possible rewards.
You didn't have to last month either.
Yeah, last month it was just a quest. Like if you didn't do Iron Banner last month, last month, you would have
snap.
Yeah, you would have had.
Guru is doing on one of her characters. She had to go through and do it, and it's because she didn't do it last month on that character. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say is that it's just because of a different game mode. Okay, now as for drop rate, this time compared to last time is the same as exotics. Exotics is the same, so it's basically it's 1 in 4 games you get. I don't know what that was. You get a legendary, and 1 in 7 games you get an exotic. So, oh my goodness. This is a Destiny podcast. This is not Pokemon. Okay. So again, it goes back to people are feeling more rewarded because this is terrible. What is the world coming to? Stop showing. There we go. Thank you, Gray. Thank you. Way better. Okay. At least that's Destiny related, even though it's not Iron Banner related. That's pretty badass.
I need to buy one of those. That looks great.
So the percentage rates are the same as they were last Iron Banner. It's just that people are feeling a lot more at ease because of the game type, which is really good. I love that part. I agree with you. I think that it's really cool the way they have the reward system. Doing 4 bounties, you don't have to worry about it. You're going to get those rewards. Unfortunately, like on my first character this week, I got crap rewards. I got 2 bonds of any of the gear. I don't want bonds. You can get bonds in Archon's Forge. I don't really care because I've got so much 400 gear anyways, but I'd rather have like 400 chest piece or something or legs, and I could infuse it into something else. Bonds, really. But it's still cool because you're getting that reward there. And at the same time, you're getting all the rewards in game, and that drop rate. And that's why I said last month when you were having so much issues, I was like, yeah, but you should still go in there because even when you lose, you're going to get rewards, and it really does help those people that want some different roles or they need it for their light. There are still people out there that aren't 400 light. They're using it to up their light. It's a great way to do it, even though there's only a few things, heavy and a, what is it? What is this? Is it primary?
Yeah.
It's primary.
Yeah.
Dropping. Right.
Your packages can give you other stuff anyways.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
you get the bounties. And also, I think it's worth noting that the chest piece and boots are really, really, really key items to leveling up because those are the only 2 items unobtainable from the strike skeleton key chests.
Exactly. So it's really, really key for that kind of stuff to happen. But I do have to agree with Agrios. It does kind of suck in some ways. You just have these 4 bounties. When you're done, you're done. And for those people that aren't really big into PvP, I mean, lucky I am. I could care less if I have a bounty or not. I'm going to go in there and play. I mean, I love Iron Banner. If Bungie would sell the damn hats again, I'd have an Iron Banner hat on right now. So it's great. But for those people that are want something more to do, yeah, do some other bounties for rep or whatever. But I mean, it really doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference what rank you are. You get as long as you get your packages done and just go in there and get those random rewards. But the one thing I do say, I know we haven't really hit this yet. In the Guardian 1 chat this morning, our members were going off. They were going off this, and this is ridiculous. They don't understand why there's no rewards for 3 and 5. And to be quite honest, and I was really quiet, and I wanted to be quiet on purpose because I wanted to bring it up tonight. I don't think that matters. It doesn't matter because people were always moaning in the past that they had to work to get to 5, right?
Well, and not only that, but over half the time it was worthless. The rewards were worthless at 3 and 5. Right. I wasn't ever pleased with my rewards at 3 or 5.
No, so there is no reason for people to be upset about that. Now, people are saying, well, there's nothing to work to. That's not true because those elitist people, those people that are playing lots and they want certain roles, almost every single Iron Banner so far, okay, every Iron Banner because there's only been 2, but there's been tier 12 builds for the stuff that they're selling at rank 5. So there is something for people to work to if those people want to. Those people that are that are going to go out there and grind away and get to rank 5 in one day, which is possible. I did it again. It is possible. You can do it, and you can get rewarded for it in that regard. So I understand people's frustration because they feel like they're not getting anything. Well, you're not forced to go out there and get to rank 5 anymore. It doesn't matter. You're getting all the rewards while you're playing. So point for Bungie. I think, to be honest, that they have done a really good job with the way that they are rewarding people right now.
Definitely. I I know that you're right. A lot of people were upset that there wasn't a package at 5, and I feel like the drop rate that they have at the end of game is more than covers what I'm not getting at ranks 3 and 5. And the fact that I don't have to go through my other characters to try and get that rank 5 reward because I can just stay on my main character means that, if I really want to, I can switch to an alt and I can do those 4 bounties and I can see what's in there and also gain drops along the way. I am really, really, really happy that they dropped 3 and 5 packages, because I think the last Iron Banner, I wasn't necessarily even interested in. It was the unbent tree or something like this, the auto rifle. I wasn't necessarily interested in it. I did want to hit rank 5 because I thought there were still packages, but like you said, that was connected to Aphrodite. I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy about them dropping rank 5 packages. I did it once. I ranked all 6 of my characters to 5. It was awesome. I patted myself on the back. I bought myself some cookies, and then I moved on with my life. So great. What do you think about this? What do you think about the current Iron Banner and the new reward system? What do you think about all this?
So you guys have covered a lot of topics, so I don't want to duplicate. The thing I think they did really well is that the whole concept of curated vendor gear and weapons and armor. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think having these things consistently tier 11, tier 12 type items and having the rolls on them be fantastic rolls every week is going to be incentive to get people to want to grind up to rank 4, rank 5 so that they can have those as part of their arsenal. I think that's a great way to go about it. What I don't like about it, I want something that is a slow, hard objective to achieve in Iron Banner, and I want the reward to be equitable to that. That was the problem, was that it was a grind to get to rank 5 and the reward was not equitable for the work that it put in to get there.
Definitely.
But what if the grind was worse? What if it actually took all week to get to rank 5, but you got an ornament? You got something that was the only way to get it.
You're describing vanilla Destiny.
No, wait.
I don't.
Rank 5, you got an awesome
You really
emblem.
are describing
And
vanilla.
The only way you could get that emblem was to get to rank 5. Now you can just go spend some glimmer in a tower and buy it, unfortunately.
I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there for a second, okay? And
Sharks is like, shut the hell up, Gray.
No, I can say this with certainty. Not everybody will agree with you, Gray. Not everybody will agree that it is easy to get those bounties done. Some of those bounties do take people a long time to get. Not you, not me, maybe not the rest of this panel. But that's because we are PvP players. But there are other people out there. In fact, we have Guardian 1 members that say how hard it was last Iron Banner to complete some of those bounties because they are not that skilled. You are one of those skilled people. You play trials every week, all right? So it's easy for you, all right? It's not easy for everybody.
Sharks makes a great point.
Yeah.
Fifth dentists can lay down the law. Brush your damn teeth. Yeah, you're right. And I don't want to come across as saying that if you're struggling with those and that is the grind, that's great. If that is, and again, there's people in that boat, Sharks. I would say then the reward from completing that bounty isn't equitable for the work that they're putting into it. Right. But with that aside, what I think we lost in this was some carrot at the end of the stick to hit rank 5. The gear is one thing, but the gear has always been there. So I felt like I was losing something. I wasn't gaining something with this change, with the new way they're doing Iron Banner. I didn't notice it last week, or not last week, but the last Iron Banner, because we had this quest, which I want to talk a little bit more about when we're segueing to the next topic. Why the heck didn't they have that be a repeating quest every Iron Banner with new content elements that were part of it? They missed a huge opportunity to do that.
No, you're totally right. And this goes back to the fifth dentist talking about how much time and effort and, you're adding a whole new layer of blah, blah, blah to the game. That's why they didn't do it.
I'm calling bullshit on it, though, because from an animation standpoint, they don't have to do anything, right? They have to record some new dialogue and they have to write new text. That's it. That's all they have to do. I'm not even saying generate a new cutscene. Don't put in a new cutscene. When you go and talk to her, she has new dialogue and new text that she's giving you. That's not that much to add.
So what kind of grind are you talking about here? Like you're saying that a really hard grind. Like what are you talking about? Like 1,000 wins in a week? Because that's pretty rough.
1,000 wins? I've never even played that many games in a week, and I grind all week long. No way.
No, definitely something that's achievable, but feels like you have to work for it. I don't want it to be out of the range that, and not like, not something that only 15% of players are going to be able to achieve. No, the majority of players are going to achieve it. They just have to be willing to put in the time and do the work for it.
What if it was something like get 100 wins, and it's just not even a bounty, but like a mission, so it stays in your mission section, kind of like Thorn does.
Like in the book.
Yeah, well,
like in the book, you have to have.
Well, yeah, I suppose a book would work too, but
I think the problem with what you guys are proposing is it will go against all the people that cannot play all week long.
Well, I'm not saying have it go away at the end of the week. I'm saying have it be something that you work towards every Iron Banner.
Oh, like 100 Crucible wins, and next Iron Banner you can turn it in.
Or no, like you get 10 this week, 10 the next month, 10 the next month. After 10 months, you got it done.
So Sharks, and I agree with you, Jez, but Sharks, from a fundamental standpoint, people who don't have time to play a lot of Destiny, they have to be okay with the fact that they're not going to have everything that's in the game. Part of having everything and experiencing everything in the game takes a lot of time and commitment to do so.
No, I agree with you. Okay, but I think this is where it comes into where it's very difficult for Bungie to make everybody happy. They are trying. They're trying, obviously. They are doing changes, and that's why they changed the bounty system, because they were trying to kind of appease the people that weren't playing a lot, but at the same time still keep the people that play a lot happy. And this is why I see like people like Agrios that plays a lot is not so happy because there's not so many bounties, but at the same time, they can only add so much content. I guess that's the easiest way of putting it to it. But I agree with you. You're right. There are the people that play 1 day a week have to realize they're probably not going to finish some of those bounties, period. Let alone if they have harder bounties. And I'm not saying don't have harder bounties. I like the challenge. I think that would be great. But it just there's a fine line. Where do you set that bar? How hard do you make it for people?
Mm-hmm. And my dissatisfaction right now is a mindset that I'm adjusting, that my carrot at the end of the stick was a package at rank 5.
Right.
And now my carrot at the end of the stick is something I can get from a vendor, which I feel like was always there, but that wasn't the carrot that I was necessarily going for. I'm going to become okay with it. It's just a little bit of an adjustment in the mindset of what I'm actually working towards.
I feel like you are replacing the fifth rank package with absolutely anything that drops in endgame. Like we're actually looking at
Yeah.
just any one of the like write down how many legendary drops you get, Gray, and then take one of those away and say this was my 5th package, like my 5th rank package. Like I feel like that's what we're looking at here. Like I see what you're saying. And Z-Dog brings up a good point. The top of the leaderboard bounty was tough. They said that they would get it like once during the whole week. I wouldn't even get it that much. I sat on that bounty on several of my characters because once I completed it, I knew that, it's not very likely that I would be top of the leaderboard, top of both teams. Like that's insanity. And so I'm glad that went away. I don't know. We need to move on.
Real quick though, our Velvet J actually just put a good comment, which I was gonna mention when you had just finished. Don't even make it an item or anything. Make it be something cosmetic, something glowing on your Guardian that shows that you made it to rank 5. Something that, again, repeating things they've done in the past. But I would actually be happy saying, hey, I've got this glowing thing on me for the week that shows that I'm an Iron Lord that made it to rank 5. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Moving on, unless anyone else has anything they want to add to this.
They should make a glowing thing that gets on your head after you beat the Nightfall.
Hey, I like that idea a lot, Jez. Let's talk about that some more. Agrios, what you got?
So something else that was announced this week, they're going to be making some changes to the Destiny companion, and there's going to they've previously made it so that you could link your Twitch account directly to your Bungie account, and they're adding a whole host of new features, whole interactive features with Twitch. You're going to be able to look up your favorite Destiny streamers by a lot of different categories now. You're going to be able to look at the gear they're running, even their specific roles. There's even a new emblem they've added, awarded to you once you've completed 77 hours of streaming Destiny. It's called the Can't Stop the Signal emblem. And they didn't give us a exact date when this is going to be revealed, when this is going to roll out, but they did say stay tuned for the big unveil next week. This may coincide with the ride-along they're going to be doing. They're going to be running the Wrath of the Machine raid coming up this Wednesday. So I think that's a good time to potentially look out for when exactly, the Twitch rollout's going to happen.
Definitely.
Are you guys excited about this? Do you think this is a major feature? Do you think this is going to affect the community a lot, Remy?
I've already linked my account to this stream, and I like all of these different things that they've done. I like the connectivity. I do. I like it all. I think that for the people that will use it, it's going to be excellent. The way they describe it in this Bungie weekly update make it seem like it's just going to take that connectivity to the next level. You're going to be able to check out what they're using. Like it's just going to be cool. It'll be like the companion app, but moved outside of your telephone. I'm really excited about it. Jez, do you think this is cool?
Except that it's not super achievable by some people.
Definitely.
I mean, it is achievable just to throw it on and basically do nothing while it's streaming. But, yeah.
That's lame.
The worst part is it means more red bars.
Yeah.
They already got bad enough connection. Now they're also streaming.
That's true. I can definitely see what you're saying. There's going to be like a million new accounts. Thank you for bringing that up, Jez. Sharks, what do you think about this?
I like it. I've been looking forward to the extra stuff that they said way back when that they were going to do for streamers. It gives people more incentive to stream, and that's not a bad thing. Except for red bars, that could be a bad thing. But whatever. It's fun. Get everybody out there, get everybody doing it. Like to see who's going to be first in Guardian 1. I'm going to claim dibs on it, but It may not happen. May not happen. There are some people in Guardian 1 that are big time streamers. Some on this panel stream, and I also may not be around all that week. So we'll see.
Gray.
I think it's hilarious. Remember, you linked your account to the Guardian 1 network because 77 hours, so 33 and a half weeks, 34 weeks. It'll be like 4 or 5 months before.
Right? I'm in.
Unless
otherwise
somebody logs in on Guardian 1 on accident.
All the time. I think that I think it's cool, and I'd like to say that for all those new Twitch streamers who certainly are setting up their accounts and linking them with Bungie.net, feel free to give a follow and a host to the Guardian 1 network. We're always happy to be a part of supporting you and enjoy your support. So I think it's going to be good to grow the Twitch community. I hope it grows the Twitch community, and that can help with the interaction that we see in the Destiny community and the interaction that we get to have with the Destiny community on Twitch Thursday nights. It's certainly a highlight of my week. So I think it's a good thing. Jez, I hear you, though. I think they've already got enough issues with their connections, their matchmaking. This isn't going to do it any favors, and it'll be really interesting to see if this problem, which is already a really big problem, gets worse, and if people cry even more about it.
I don't mind, waiting the weeks. Like I don't generally stream, and so 2 hours a week, for doing what I'm already doing, I'm in. I don't mind waiting a couple of months. It's better than never getting it or trying to AFK stream or whatever it is that people are doing, So I'm cool. I'm cool with that. All right, Agrios, what are your thoughts on this? And then moving on.
I think it's going to be good for the community. I think it's going to be good for Destiny. I mean, putting a requirement out there to get an emblem like that is like, more or less business genius as far as your Twitch marketing goes. You're going to have all these extra streams out there, just marking up your numbers on Twitch. It's going to help push Destiny to the top of different lists and things like that. It's just smart business, really. And certainly can't hurt the community. So that's all good for everybody.
Man, Bungie trying to artificially inflate their Destiny numbers in Twitch. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Whoever thought of that needs a pat on the back and a cookie. All right, moving on.
So that's most of the good info so far in the weekly update. Something we touched on before, and I think it is a hot issue in the community and is worth discussing. We go back to the PvP aspect of things, and Jez touched on this. I'm surprised he didn't actually go in a little deeper, but shotguns versus primaries, nerfs, buffs. What do you feel needs to be done to balance the meta? Remy?
This is a good question, and I know that a lot of people freak out about this. And I love Destiny for the same reason that I loved Halo, and that is because it's not Call of Duty. Like this, it's very simple math. It's very simple arithmetic. I played a little bit of Call of Duty, the smallest bit of Call of Duty, and the time to kill in Call of Duty is it's basically whoever sees who first just downs the other person almost instantly, and it feels gross. I don't feel any sense of accomplishment there. In Destiny, there is a dance. There is an opportunity to escape. There is an opportunity to move side to side. There's a real chance at winning, and this is the reason I loved Halo. Halo moved at a certain speed, and with that certain speed, there was a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun to be had. And so the idea of bringing up primaries brings the time to kill down to the point where I feel like it's not going to feel like Destiny anymore. I definitely am sick of shotguns. Super sick of shotguns. And I wanted to say, between this Iron Banner and last Iron Banner, I picked up the Trespasser because Xur sold it. And my loadout now is my DIS 47, which is mid to long range excellence, and then Trespasser. And then I've actually been using a machine gun. I've been using Baron's Ambition because it has a really nice clip size and because I have some really good roll on it. I've really been enjoying this loadout. I stopped using rocket launcher, both because I would accidentally kill myself and also because I feel like my gun skill has gotten a little bit better, and so I feel like I'm able to actually take down enemies. Like my situational awareness has gained a couple of notches, and so I've really been using machine guns a lot. But I'll tell you what, Trespasser is the answer to shotguns. I couldn't tell you how many times I heard screaming coming from the pixels that just were dropped by the Trespasser. And I know it's not for everyone, and I know some other people really enjoy using like an exotic primary or an exotic heavy. I used Truth for the longest time. But as soon as I picked up the Trespasser, it's amazing. It's amazing. And watching people run up with their shotgun and just shooting them and them not getting any attack on me whatsoever because I was able to take them down before they got anywhere near range. Even with the Matador, I'm able to really effectively drop them. And so for me, the Trespasser has changed the whole game. I wish that Xur had brought the Trespasser when Supremacy was around, because I feel like I would not have felt so sat on. Like I feel like I would have been able to turn the tides. And so now I have my DIS 47 mid to long range, and then if people get too close, I just switch right to that Trespasser snapshot. Semi-auto. I don't know, what is it? Oh, it's burst fire. Really high stability. It feels amazing. It sounds great, and it gets the job done. And so as much as I would like to see shotguns take another hit to distance, because they're still, many of them are still very crazy. I feel like the time to kill is exactly where it needs to be. And if you're a sucker and you're going to come at me with a shotgun, you're going to get a Trespasser in the face. I just hang out with it now. Like PvE, I switched to a sniper rifle and Outbreak Prime, because Outbreak Prime just does, even on non-fallen enemies, it does an amazing amount of damage. I love it. I love the way it sounds. I love the Yellowhorn style, followers. So that's where I'm at as far as primaries, buffing primaries, or bringing down shotguns. Shotguns, I don't know. I understand that they are supposed to be a very powerful weapon at a very close range. I just feel like that range just keeps getting further and further as time goes on. Universal remote is such a bummer. It's such a bummer. Like but yeah, because I have that Trespasser, I really am not letting people engage that close anymore. So I hope that people have a chance to check it out, and I hope that they have a legendary primary and heavy that they want to use, because I will use Trespasser specifically to deal with shotguns, and it makes me feel good about it. Jez, what do you think about this buffing up primaries or nerfing shotguns?
Well, there's also the fact that some of the primaries are doing super good against other primaries. Like, there's an imbalance in primaries as it is, but it definitely, I think, between all of the time to kill from like secondaries and primaries, I think it needs to be a little bit slower, which means nerfing shotguns. I'm still a proponent of a shotgun. Would be nice if it took 2 hits, or a hit and a punch, or a hit and anything else.
I agree. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. So you're
saying at any range, even against the player, it should take 2 shots with a shotgun, Jess?
Not at any range. No, at like normal Matador range.
Yeah, at Matador range, it needs to take 2 hits.
So you're saying nerf the range, not necessarily make it a 2-shot kill shotgun at all ranges.
Well, wouldn't it be nice to have someone charge you, jump over a thing, hit you once and you have time to actually hit him back, wouldn't you like to have some be able to respond?
Totally,
I
especially.
agree. I was just clarifying whether you were nerfing the range or nerfing the impact to the point
It would
where
be-
at any range, including no range, it took 2 shots to kill.
It would be impact.
Yeah, you think it would be impact, not range?
Because otherwise, people are still gonna, they'll still find ways to make the range longer than what you want it to be.
No, I'm
As
saying
randomly.
with all the range buffs at max range, that's the range you would adjust down. And then if you
Yeah.
didn't have those buffs, that would be incremental. But the
Well-
fact is, with 0 range, when you're against a player, I was curious whether you wanted it to be a 1 or 2 shot kill in that situation.
I would want it to still be a 2-shot. It would be a shot, and then you'd still have plenty of time to smack him. Like, he would shoot you, smack, you possibly would get 1 melee off, but that's about it.
And you know what? And I think that would definitely at least possibly balance it out, because there's been many times when I've just picking away at this person who's running at me, and then they get within what should be a regular distance, like maybe a third of the way up the range, and they just take me down in one shot. If that range, if that impact, they needed both 2 hits or a hit and a punch, that would give me a chance to also throw a punch. The
thing with shotguns is they already have the advantage of getting the first shot off. So there's no return from it. If it kills you in 1 hit, definitely no return.
It's Jez says there's no tactics when you get popped thrice with a fast pulse or once with a shotgun. I have noticed this. I actually tweeted out yesterday.
That was also responding to being able to leave a combat if you're getting low. Like,
this is very true.
Back
Blind perdition.
when Thorn was a thing, there still was the ability to hide.
Right. Blind perdition is what I've been coming up against recently, and I tweeted out that I'm having a hard time understanding why you would give the best weapons in the game to the people who are already amazing at this game. Like, why do you give the people who go to the lighthouse the doctrine of passing? Like, that person was already going to beat me basically with whatever weapon they're going to use. Why would you give them basically a shortcut to killing more people? Like, that just doesn't.
Well,
I just don't understand.
If that were the case, then they would have no reason to do it.
But give them something else. Give them something
but you
else.
want to give them a reward they're interested in getting for what they're good at doing and playing, enjoy playing.
Yeah. But then you just make the game shitty for anyone who can't make it to the lighthouse.
That's not the point. The point is making it rewarding for the person playing it to get that reward.
No. Bungie has never said that they're only interested in making the people happy who can do the best shits ever. You know what I'm saying? Like they.
No, it's a matter of being rewarded for what you're playing. And those players, the only way they're going to be rewarded is if they get a gun that they're going to be happy about using in their preferred play style.
And if it wasn't an insanely super powerful gun, what if they brought back primary elementals? Like, what if instead of receiving Doctrine of Passing, which melts people in just a fraction of a second, what if you got a regular powered gun that had an elemental? I feel like...
Because a PvP player doesn't care about elemental primaries.
Well, the thing is, you can get Doctrine of Passing without going to the lighthouse.
True.
The thing that you're missing is the inherent snapshot perk.
I thought it was the last guy standing... the last player standing perk.
It's the fast aim or fast switching perk.
Interesting.
Just free on all the adept weapons.
But yeah, so I get what you're saying about the fast pulse. So definitely some weapons can be balanced out a bit better. Sharks.
I'm kind of surprised that fast pulses, pulses in general, have dominated TTK and no one's done anything the entire time.
I'm not. Sharks, what do you think about this? Boost primaries or nerf shotguns?
Don't boost primaries. Shotguns? shotguns, these things. If you run around with a shotgun in Destiny and you get good at it, you kill everybody, and that's wrong. And you kill everybody in one shot, and it's and there's no way of getting away from it. That's the thing that really sucks. Okay, so for instance, today I was playing Iron Banner, and everybody knows me. I'm a sniper. Over the last couple weeks, due to trials, I have decided to use other guns. In trials, the first week of spooky trials, I used shotguns because that seemed to be the only way to go. Week 2, we found out that wasn't true, especially with that map. But after it finished, I decided, okay, I'm going to start using different guns, and I'm going to really, play with everything, really test stuff out. And today I was having fun with sidearms. Sidearm versus shotgun. You will lose almost every single time if that shotgun is able to get off a shot. That sucks. I was going up against people and, at a long range, they're not going to get in there. Closer, super close range, you have no chance. There's no way. You sit there and you got to pop in order to kill them. And once they get in that shotgun range, you're dead. I was playing another match earlier, absolutely epic match. Guy pops his golden gun. He misses me with all 3 shots because I'm moving around and I'm able to kill him with the sidearm, But if he had popped out a shotgun, I would have been dead. It's kind of ridiculous how powerful shotguns are. Really, people always complained about snipers being super OP, but with a sniper, it was only OP that if the person got a headshot, it wasn't OP. You don't do one shot and they're dead. You even at close range, one shot, people weren't dying in the body. With a shotgun, if it's a good shotgun,
your thing's going crazy, Jez.
You're talking about
your laptop's going crazy.
Your matadors and your stuff like that. That stuff, it's an insta kill, and I do think that kind of sucks. I do not think that that buffing primaries is going to fix that problem. What it's going to do is it's going to turn Destiny into more of a Call of Duty quick shoot 'em up thing. And I know, based off of what I've heard from Bungie employees, they state they want a slower game. Unfortunately, with shotguns, it's not a slower game, and they have not addressed that yet. I'm not sure if a 2-shot shotgun is really the answer. As a sniper, I would say, oh yeah, sure, that's the answer, but that's not fair. That's not fair either. Maybe make it where you have to be at a certain range, and you actually have to hit them in the head. It's not. I get people all the time. They're jumping over me. There's no way in hell. There's absolutely no way in hell that they are aiming while they're flying over top of me, spinning in the air, boom, and kill me. That's BS. So I don't know how hard it would be to change the mechanics on it, but I do think that they need to do something with maybe the range, maybe the damage, maybe both. And then if they're doing it with damage, do it where it's a lot less damage the lower down you go. Make the cone so much smaller on the headshot and it a lot harder to actually get. And if you're at a further range, like say you're at 10 feet, 15 feet, that cone is so big, even if you hit a headshot, it's not going to kill them. It's going to do, 3/4 damage, and then they're going to have to finish you off with a punch. But yeah, I've been a proponent of them needing to do something with shotguns for a long time. Now that you've got these different matches, Supremacy, spooky trials, where people are really, really going hard with shotguns, and they're using these primary shotguns, it makes it very, very hard to compete with them with other weapons.
I agree. I agree. And you know what? I remember when they changed it from like a body shot with the Irene would be an instant kill.
Right.
And so when I get one shot from a sniper rifle, I know that person had to have skill, or I had to have been standing still long enough for them to really get a nice clean shot, because every other time it just kills my shield and brings me down almost to death. I still have an opportunity to do something about it, and I think that that's what's missing in the shotgun encounter, is that anywhere near and any part of my body, and that's it. Like it's so simple. Holtzman put a video out where this person was using the Matador 64, and they were so far from him, and when it one shot him, and it feels crappy. It feels crappy to not be able to, oh well, I guess that's it. Like that's all there is. That's the rest of this game, is running up against this guy. And again, trespasser. I'm loving the trespasser. People trespass against me, and I trespass against them. Gray, what do you think about this? Buffing primaries. I dread to think what buffing a primary to universal remote would do. Where do you fall on this?
I think primaries are in a fine spot. I think even universal remote is in a better spot than what it had been. I certainly lost some range. I have damage fall off. A lot of my kills with UW now are 2-shot kills, not 1-shot kills. I think Matador, I think we all can agree, Matador's range is a little ridiculous. And that gun, maybe Last Ditch as well, that archetype specifically might need a little bit of a nerf on the range side. I think shotguns should not guaranteed always be a 2-shot kill. I don't think that's the right answer. I think at a certain range, maybe really close, it should always be a 1-shot kill, but there needs to be some component that puts that player at risk at being that close. Maybe a buff on melees, maybe where a little bit, 1-shot damage from a primary and a melee from that closer range would do enough damage that would take them down. Something to give them pause to say, I have to get this close to make that shot be effective as a 1-shot kill, then I'm putting myself at risk to do so.
I like that. I like that a lot, because there's been many times when I've put a bunch of shots in to a person who's charging me, and because the range is so distant, they can just I just literally cannot do enough damage to kill them, even though I've put several shots primary into them. As soon as they get within that's why it's so effective. That's why so many people use it, because they can take that many shots and then get a certain amount of distance away from you, and then it's just one hit. Like, I feel, I think that you're onto something there about the melee. What if you had to be within melee range for it to be a one-hit kill? Like, that way, if they put any shots in on you and you're trying to one-hit kill them, you can still do it if you get within punching range, but if they punch you, that's it. I feel like this is a pretty good example of something that could work, because I don't know, it just sounds really good. I'm gonna do a lot of thinking about that, Gray.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, the other thing that they could do, which would have helped this situation, Zox18 brought it up. Movement speed is a big part of this too, and a lot of people are jumping in and playing games like Titanfall, where movement speed can be insane. Destiny, I don't think, needs to be a game that has that parkour, super fast movement speed aspect. I would not be that disappointed if they slowed down movement speed a bit in the game.
That's interesting. I use pretty much, I use almost always full armor, and then next comes recovery, and I don't even worry about speed. But you're totally right. That's definitely another thing to take into account, because there's definitely some speed involved there. It's a good point. All right, so we have like 10 minutes left. Agrios, why don't you give us your thoughts on this, and then give us any more information that we might need.
I feel like I don't want the time to kill to be increased.
Right.
I feel like maybe they need to balance out the primaries among each other a little bit more. I feel like they're too reactionary, too heavily in the past. I feel like a lot of the nerfs and buffs that happened were unnecessary. I feel like in the beginning, for instance, let's go the whole way back, that auto rifles got a hugely unnecessary blanket nerf due to the fact that Soros' regime was just way, way too powerful. And I think that just kind of set the mood for the way Bungie handled a lot of their primary changes throughout the course of Destiny's run. I think they just need to get away from that mindset and make a bunch of tiny tweaks to help balance the primaries amongst each other. And I think they just need to nerf the range a little bit on shotguns. I don't have as big of a problem as everyone else does with them. I've always run a shotgun game. I've never been great at sniping in PvP. Perfectly comfortable with a sniper in PvE. No problems there. Just not comfortable with it. I get shot from the sides and things like that. I just am a lot more effective and always have been with the shotgun, even when snipers were in their heyday. I also always have felt like people can shoot me and kill me from farther away with their shotgun than I could do with my shotgun, regardless of having a god roll or not. But I feel that, once again, that might fall a bit into lag and packet loss and things like that too. So I agree that to balance things out, they probably need a bit of a nerf. I would probably like to see it requiring 2 shots from a little bit closer than it is now, like, as in a range nerf. But I still think if you're, running into a person with a shotgun and you pull the trigger, they should die. It takes a large amount of risk to get against somebody with a shotgun. Frankly, I think, the best way, I mean, there's going to be a certain amount of just bad luck shots running into people when you're dealing with shotguns. But I think, you just got to outthink the shotgunners. You got to not put yourself into a situation where a shotgunner is going to be able to get the drop on you.
So play none of the maps?
No, this actually goes back to, I feel like one of the reasons I loved Spooky Trials so much is because it played right into my hand. I'm already keeping an extra step and a half, 2 steps, 3 steps back from a corner or from an opening. Like, I am already naturally, as my play style, I'm already holding back far enough to where, because they couldn't see me on the radar, and because I'm seeing them rush out of this door, I'm able to put shots on them way before they even have any idea where I am. So this is already the way I play. I understand what you're saying, Jez, but I already hang back far enough to where if a shotgunner comes around the corner, I have some amount of time to deal with it. And it really just stung a lot on Supremacy, Iron Banner Supremacy, because so many people were running shotguns. Like there just wasn't a safe place anywhere. Moving around the map, like you're saying. I am not looking forward to Supremacy coming back to Iron Banner. Not ever. I don't know. Okay.
Can I add one thing about Spooky Trials?
Yeah, do it.
How come you can't hear people walk?
It's a good question.
It's really annoying to have someone like behind you and you can't tell that they're behind you, even if they're friend or foe.
That is a good question, especially because there was footsteps in Halo. So I don't know. I didn't notice that there was no footsteps. Maybe because I play with the TV pretty low anyways. So I wasn't using that as a counter. But that's a good question. Okay. We are into shout out time. Agrios, is there anything else you wanted to add before we go?
No, we pretty much made it through everything. I guess, quick, make sure you check out the community creations this week. I always like I like that aspect of the Destiny community, so I hate leaving it off when we run out of time. Yeah. So at least make sure you check all those things out,
Outstanding. Okay. Well then, why don't we get to shout outs starting with Gray?
Wait.
What?
You missed
No one
something.
cares about challenge mode. No one cares about challenge mode.
Oh yeah. We missed that challenge mode. I did have that. We did talk so long on that last topic, I forgot about it. I have it noted here. Yes, challenge mode though.
Only people who care about that are people who are running that, and I don't know anybody like that. So let's just move on. Yeah. What did you want to say, Sharks? Say your piece.
No, I don't have any piece. Challenge mode's awesome. It's awesome. Super fast. Kick ass. Get your butts in there and do it. Super fun.
I can't wait until challenge modes are boss challenge modes and not challenge modes to do while during the boss.
What?
I said I can't wait until challenge modes are boss challenge modes and not things to do during the boss.
Like a different boss that you have to fight for the challenge, right?
Well, like, the boss is different. Like, you... like, for instance, in World of Warcraft Raid, during one of the DPS phases, like, he exposes his heart. If you blow up the heart, it activates challenge mode, where he does a lot more damage and does a lot of things faster. Like, that type of challenge mode, like, this is hard mode, this is challenge mode, non-binary challenge modes are good.
Here's the thing with this challenge mode this week. This week, even more so than the first week, is there was a lot of communication, and you have to be on point with your communication. You have to be fast. You can't be slow with anything. And when the group I went in with first, when we first went in there, we were having issues because it just seemed like it was so darn quick. But once you get that, you got to make sure that your call outs are on point and go and get ready to go. I don't know. I found it a really good challenge. And when we went in the second time, we just blew through it, and so I don't know. I like challenges like this. And I like that they are rewarding you with something that isn't game breaking. Getting those ornaments, I think it's pretty cool because anybody can really go in there and do it, but you're getting something that's, it's not a gun. You're not gonna get some epic loot that's gonna destroy the game. It's just gonna be something cool to make yourself glow and look cool. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. And those of you that haven't done it yet, you need to get in there and try it and see. You do have to have a decent team, and you have to do a lot of teamwork, but don't just dismiss it. It's fun. That's the whole point of these things that they're bringing, challenge modes. This is what we're asking for. We're asking for extra stuff like this. So don't just say, I didn't do it, so let's not talk about it.
How about I didn't do it, so let's just not talk about it? That fall into that category? Let's do shout outs and get the hell out of here. Gray's got to go to sleep. Shout outs starting with you, Gray.
Shout out this week goes to my lovely, beautiful wife, Hefty Flounder. It is her birthday in 2 minutes. She's going to be 32 years old. So shout out goes to her. Happy birthday, hon.
Never say her age.
Right.
She's proud of it.
Sharks.
My shout out this week goes to Mr. Baby Blue 12, who Twitch streams. He streams on Baby Blue Gaming. Go check him out. The reason I'm giving him a shout out is because Velvet and I went to play Trials last week with Lawn Boy, and Lawn Boy had to leave after our 6th win. We needed one more win. We had a loss on our card. We just wanted one more win. We told Maynard, come in, join us, and he didn't want to disappoint us and lose because he hadn't been playing. So he went, and he had met this guy the day before, and the dude came in with an 1800 yellow, and it was insane watching him run around and do that just for us, just to get our gun. We didn't care about anything else. So shout out to him. Go check him out.
Excellent. Agrios.
First off, happy birthday to Heavy Flounder coming up here. A big shout out there, and we'll just give her my shout out this week. I'm happy with that. Shout out Happy Flounder birthday.
Awesome. Jez.
Shout out to Emily Caldwin? Yeah, that's it. One of the protagonists of Dishonored 2.
Awesome.
because I have no other shoutouts.
You're the man, Jez. My shout out this week is to Flounder, not Grace Flounder, my Flounder. It was her birthday on Sunday. And I'm not going to tell you how old she turned to because that's rude. Rude people.
Oh, okay. Correction then. Double Flounder shout out. I'm abstaining. I'm going back and correcting my shout out to be a double Flounder shout out.
So yeah, it was her birthday, and sadly, none of the sweet presents that I purchased her have gotten here yet. Apparently, Amazon is the only place that ever gets anywhere on time. Like, I got an email. It's like, oh man, totally in like 5 days, we will think about shipping what you just paid for. And so that sucks. But happy birthday to her. I love you very much. I hope you enjoyed the show. That wraps up episode 108. We would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, or have any comments on something that has already been covered, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.